Donald Trump is accused of insulting the United Kingdom by claiming Britain would not come to America's aid. I'm going to read into this more from The Independent, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from The Independent with the headline that Donald Trump, the United States President, has accused of insulting the United Kingdom by claiming that Britain would never come to the aid of America. The US President's comments compared of those of his deputy JD Vance, who has been slammed for disrespecting British veterans. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. Donny, you really don't know a lot about history, do you? So, for those who don't know their history here, because there are unfortunately some people online who have not read their history, when at World War II we called for America to come to our aid, and they came to our aid in World War II, and they saved us from the Nazi Germans at World War II. With them, they helped save the Allies and helped us overcome them with and the Soviet Union from their side, and the Allied forces, the British Empire and America. We were able to defeat the Nazi Germanys back in World War II, and we are forever grateful for the Americans for doing that. Now, what he clearly has forgotten that a terrible incident occurred in America, 9/11, where many Americans sadly lost their lives tragically at the fall of the Twin Towers. It's one of the most darkest days in American history, and it was an attack on American soil. And it triggered Article 5 of the NATO alliance, where it was an attack on America. And what happened? The rest of the Allies, including the United Kingdom, stood up and supported America in its war against Iraq. We didn't want to go to war, but we stood by them. Our forces, our soldiers, our fighter jets, our weapons were on that ground, supporting America in that war. We went to war along their side. We responded when they asked for our aid. So him saying that Britain would not come to America's aid, history has shown that we did. And I don't know if Britain would come to the aid of America now, given the context of how this Trump administration has been treating itself. I wouldn't mind Britain coming to the aid of the American people. I'm not so sure about this American government. But Donald Trump really doesn't know his history at all. And I don't know what he's trying to gain from this apart from upsetting us. But it really just goes to show, once again, this sluggish, this is very sluggish, I use, because, you know, the way that Keir Starmer pandered to Donald Trump during that White House visit, you know, with the King's letter and everything, was all for show. You know, and Donald Trump likes the royal family. And he's literally spat on the UK here. But this is also JD Vance as well, because he's been a vile individual in all this as well. So Donald Trump has been accused of insulting the UK, that's the term, by claiming it would not come to America's aid despite British soldiers fighting alongside the US in Iraq and Afghanistan. Yes, Afghanistan as well, my apologies. The row erupted after the US president suggested he would not defend NATO countries and did not meet military spending targets, saying, I think it's common sense, right? If they don't pay, I'm not going to defend them. He added that if his biggest problem with NATO was whatever they could defend if the US called to do so. This is not true, and he knows that's not true. If the US was in trouble when we called them, do you think they're going to come and protect us? They are supposed to, I'm not so sure, he said. His comments appeared to signal a shift in US attitudes to NATO's Article 5, which states an attack on one country is an attack on all of its members. This is where this is where you start to this right here, these comments here. This is where you more believe than ever before that Donald Trump is a Russian asset, because this is what Putin and Russia want. They want NATO to be undermined, and they want Article 5 to be undermined so much that it gives them a reason to attack a NATO country. Like, I don't know, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, for example, on those terms. He needs NATO to be undermined, and this is what Donald Trump is doing. He's trying to undermine the NATO. Initially intended to protect European countries from the Soviet Union during the Cold War, it has been activated only once following the 9/11 attack against terrorist attack against the US in 2001. Lib Dem leader Sir Davies slammed Donald Trump's remarks, describing them every bit as insulting as JD Vance's comments earlier this week. He said Trump looked increasingly like an unreliable ally and the government urgently needs a plan B. Former Tory veteran minister Johnny Mercer also hit back, pointing to Trump's recent high-profile row with Ukraine, tweeting, Article 5 has been invoked once by 9/11 by the United States. Over 50 countries, including Ukraine, deployed troops to support her. Yeah. Oh, yeah, guy. Oh, yeah, did you not know that? Yeah, Ukrainians came out supported as well. People forget that. Oh, yeah, for all those who have problems with Ukraine. Vice President Vance was condemned for disrespecting British veterans after he appeared to describe the UK as some random country that hasn't been fought in a war in 30 or 40 years. He was accused of erasing the experience of Britons who served in Iraq and Afghanistan after his latest tirade against American European allies. Some 636 British troops died fighting alongside the US in Iraq and Afghanistan. An ex-soldier Liberal Democrat MP Helen Maguire, who served in Iraq, said Mr. Vance had made a sinister attempt to deny that reality. Former Republican US President George W. Bush has praised Britain's role in the Iraq War. Sir Keir Starmer is due to speak to European leaders on Friday as the UK's diplomatic push for peace in Ukraine continues. But a Labour minister said it was fair enough for the US to expect Europe to do more on defence. Health Minister Stephen Kinnock said a challenge has been laid by the US. Speaking to Sky News, Mr. Kinnock said Donald Trump is not actually the first president to say that European arms of NATO need to step up. More needs to be spent on defence, military capabilities, and needs to be made fit for purpose. Yeah, we've talked about that numerous times on the live streams, but the key crux here is that Donald Trump appears to be insulting the British public, appears to be insulting the United Kingdom here, which is not a very good idea here. It feels like it's just trying to make one problem or another here, but the whole NATO Article 5 thing, he's trying to undermine it. He's trying to undermine it there, and that's exactly what he's trying to do there. When it feels like he's just, at some point, the US are going to pull out. He's going to try and find a reason to pull out. He wants a reason for them. He wants that to be undermined as much as possible. He really does. It'll be interesting. I'll be interested to see when it does do that, because I feel like that's coming at some point. But yeah, Donald Trump, JD Vance really they don't know their history, or they're choosing to deny the reality of that history. And the problem is, because they are the highest ups in America, people are stupid enough to believe them. They are stupid enough to believe them and not know their history. You literally have Google in front of you, guys. It's not that hard to look up the history yourself. You know, the reality is that we came to America's aid after 9/11. Us and so many other countries, including Ukraine, the same Ukraine that is struggling right now. But no, people don't want to remember that. So what do you guys make of Donald Trump's comments? What do you make of the insulting the UK and claiming that Britain would not come to America's aid? But here is a question: would Britain come to America's aid at this point? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comment section below. If you found this video informative, helpful in any way to you, hit that like button, share across social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to go one step further, financially support the work that I do here, you can do so by clicking that join button down below to join the YouTube membership for as little as 99p, and you get benefits and perks for doing so as well. And you can also check out the Rumble and Patreon content as well for exclusives on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.